Hey everyone, it's David with davidspassage.com. I got kind of a situation. I hit the trail, I'm hungry, but I forgot my stove at home. Lucky for me, I live in America and there's these things laying all over the place. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to take one of these and turn it into an improvised alcohol stove. So stick around. Good old American trash. Well, today, one man's junk is another man's treasure. You see, I just picked some leeks. I was planning to have good old trail ramen for lunch, but I left my stove at home. I did bring my heat, but I don't have a stove. To do this, you're just going to need a couple things. You're going to need a pop can, and you can do this at home if you want to just play around with it. There's a lot of videos on how to make pop can stoves, but not a lot that are going to show you how to do it right on the trail. So to do this, you're going to need the pop can, and you're going to need a multi-tool with an awl. Every backpacker should have a multi-tool on them, and every multi-tool should have an awl on it. So these two things, we're going to show you how to make an alcohol stove. One thing that I know from experience in using alcohol stoves, it takes about 1 to 2 ounces of fuel to get a rolling boil on your water. And this is 12 fluid ounces. So if you think about it, you know, halfway down the can is 6 ounces. Halfway, you know, is 3 ounces. I'm going to cut this can right around the approximate 3 ounce level. So I need to find something that's going to give me a nice way to cut that neatly. So just looking at my pack here, I always have this roll of Gorilla Tape. That Gorilla Tape's about the right height. I don't want to use my regular knife, but I will use this serrated utility edge. It's very sharp. What I'm going to do is take the knife, just sort of lay it on here, flat around there, so I can kind of score the edge of this pop can. A nice even marker. You don't have to do it very hard, just ever so gently, because you don't want to cut through it yet at this point. I just want to score a nice even line. Okay, you can kind of see my scored line there. Just kind of keep scoring this line until the can just sort of naturally comes apart. I'm not putting much pressure on it at all. In fact, I'm just letting just the very edge of that score that. As long as I can keep this even, I should be able to cut this relatively easily. Now, if you've done this right, you should be able to just sort of come along this score mark and kind of press down. And as that metal weakens, it'll weaken right along that edge that you made with your knife. Alright, I'm going to be careful around this edge here because that can be kind of sharp. Just take your multi-tool and run it along the inside here just to straighten those edges out. Now what we want to do is we want to do the same thing to the top. And if you ever see, you know, other soda can alcohol stoves, they want you to use 2 cans, but you know, when you're in the woods, sometimes you got to take what you can get. So I've got one, and so what we're going to do is we're going to make the same thing, the same type of cut on the top. Okay, so now you can see this half's done. And just kind of even out those edges a little bit. Again, be very careful with this because this gets to be very sharp. These aluminum edges can cut you, and especially if you're getting this out of the trashy woods, then you don't want to get hurt. Go ahead and pull this little tab out here. So the next thing I want to do is we want to be able to seat these two together. Oh, I got to pull this little tab off too. I forgot. Sorry about that. You want the top half to seat inside the bottom half. Just real carefully, I'm going to try to get, I'm just going to manipulate this metal so that the top half fits in the bottom half. Again, this isn't a super scientific alcohol stove. This is improvising from what's often found in the woods. One thing you got to be careful of when you're trying to marry these two is you don't send a crack going down the side of this. You want this bottom half especially to remain crack free. It's nice and married in there. Make sure it's kind of flat. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my awl and put some holes in around this, just into the side of the can so that they kind of come poking out the side like this. And they don't have to be very big at all. I mean, that's probably too big. And I'm going to take a guess and try to put them just so. These are where our jets are going to come out. I'm going to put in 8 of these you keep them smaller, I think, you know, it tends to conserve fuel a little bit better. Without using any measurement tools or anything like that, you got to realize that your flame pattern is going to be probably not the most scientific. But now we're done. Let's get some lunch going. And I left that hole in the top there to pour my fuel in. Oh. All right, she's going. I'm gonna give that a minute to prime. About 2 cups. I know that's kind of hard to see. It's going pretty good. And again, this isn't going to be the most efficient stove, but it should get you by in a pinch. One way you can tell if it's primed is if you put the pot on. You can feel the heat up here, obviously. You put that pot on, you can still feel the heat around the sides. You know that it's going. Got myself a boil. It's time to add the noodles. Let those go for about 3 minutes. And then we'll add the spices and the ramps. All right, the 3 minutes is up. Now we'll add the leeks, or the ramps, or whatever you want to call them. Doesn't that look good? I'm just gonna let that simmer just a little bit more. That looks good. Well, that's how you do it. An alcohol stove made of trash pop can. Got a little pop stand, or a pot stand built in. I was able to cook up them leeks. Try that out. That's really good. Oh man, that's really good. Anyways, so alcohol stoves aren't, you know, too hard physically, or in terms of, like, you know, their physics, I guess. Pretty simple, and you can make them out of trash like this that you find in the woods. Of course, I'm gonna take this out with me and put it in the real trash, because next time I'm not gonna forget my regular alcohol stove. So thank you so much for tagging along in this video, and if you like this video, I appreciate it if you hit that like button. Definitely subscribe, and definitely share the video with your friends, and let's just keep learning together, and we'll see you outdoors. Take care.